And you are?
Elizabeth
Elizabeth, let me see here. Elizabeth, last name?
Houlihan?
Houlihan. Do you speak, or do you have issues in this classroom? Are you going to be kind of annoying?
No, sir.
Okay, interesting. What's your major?
Psychology?
Psychology. You already failed. It's terrible. Awesome. Get out of my class. I don't want to see you. Come back. Talk to my TA. I don't care. Hey, how's it going?
Great.
Awesome. What are you doing?
I'm coming to your class.
Really? And your name?
Elizabeth?
Elizabeth. Awesome. Very cool. Welcome to Psych 2005. You have a good time in here. It'll be pretty cool. You know, we could do some kind of psycho-dramatic type of things. It'll be fine.
Great.
What grade do you want?
An A would be
Great.
wonderful.
You have an A. Nobody cares.
Cool.
So that's awesome. Very cool.
Thanks.
Not a problem. Hey, welcome. How are you?
Great.
What's your name?
Great. Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, welcome. This is Psych 101. Take a seat anywhere you like. Open seating. There's stuff on the board for you to do. Welcome. We'll have a good time.
Wow, thank you.
Elizabeth, hey, what's going on?
I'm angry.
What are you angry about?
Financial aid.
All right. Do me a favor. Go take care of your financial aid stuff first. We'll save a seat for you. Be work for you to do. Go take care of that, and then go do what you got to do. Take care of you first, like Maslow's hierarchy. Take care of you, and we'll wait for you when you come back. So we'll get, yes, go. Do what you got to do.
Thank you.
So you can, because you're emotional, not ready to learn, but go ahead, do that.
Thank you.
Welcome. You saw 4 scenarios of me doing different, mimicking different types of instructors in higher ed. First one you saw was me being grumpy. Higher ed, nobody cares. So how did Elizabeth feel? Oh, she felt unwelcome, like she's a burden, and nobody cares, which is what I do. You may have had instructors like that. It's all about them. It has nothing to do with students or learning. It's all about their ego. You see that. You may have seen that in a lot of tenured institutions. The second one was another extreme, was the laissez-faire. I'm laid back, nobody cares. You want an A, great, I'm going to come to class, nobody cares. So that's the other side of the coin. So I showed you 2 extremes, one at one end and one at the other end. Now, what about the last one? Invitational learning is what it's called. That's somewhere in the middle between these two. Because what does it do? It invites the student as a human into the classroom. Because remember, students are a product of the environment, and so is your classroom. So think of your classroom as an organism. The other video I said is a bowl of soup. Think of it also as an organism. So again, as soon as they cross the threshold of your classroom door, they become into your realm. But they're going to bring a lot of baggage into the classroom before they walk into your classroom. So one way to kind of help yourself, is by standing by the door, greeting students as they come in. This is great for those new allied health courses, first couple of days of class, and especially Gen Ed when you have a lot of new students on a monthly basis. This way you get to know the student, you can see where they're going to sit. You also provide structure for the students, and you can see where they're going to sit. And also, we also said, have something on the board for them to do, like a warm-up. Like we talked about in the other video, warm-ups are great because it helps the students be directive towards some kind of task. Classroom management is what we're referring to. That dictates based on the instructor. So classroom management, we call it classroom dynamics, is how you organize. So classroom management in one word is structure. A lot of times structure is what people want to have. Students in particular, even adult students, they crave structure. They'll look at it. Are you organized? Did you plan well? All those things make a difference, because if not, it's going to set a tone and set an expectation that, oh, you know what you're doing, why am I going to listen to you? So even for adult students, structure is going to be part of that classroom management scheme. So by standing by the door, inviting students to learn, you get to know their name, you make a personal connection, you build rapport, you know where they're sitting, they're thankful, they're like, wow, it's not too bad. You diffuse a lot of material out of them, like, oh, diffusing the whole, I get to be here, welcome. So by welcoming them, you take a personal interest, you show you care. Because a lot of research shows that, especially millennial students, want to know, are you approachable? Are you actually here? And are you a human? And do you care about them as a person and how they're doing in life? Those are different elements or characteristics of a higher ed educator. So by standing there by the door, you can accomplish that. Also, what can it do for you? The fourth scene was about Elizabeth coming in upset about, has nothing to do with your class, but she was upset about financial aid. So if she came in and I ignored her because I'm up by the board doing something I should have done a half an hour ago, she comes in, she's upset. Now what happens? If I didn't pick up on that, she could have sat down with her group of peers, and because she's upset, she's going to take it out in the classroom. She would then start talking to other people, and now other people who are not riled up most likely could be riled up because of her. So now you have a whole fungus going on here. So now you have pus and bacteria in your human organism of a classroom. Like you're getting scratched, and you ignore it, it may fester, and all of a sudden you've got a lot of pus going on. Now you're infected. So now your classroom is infected, and now it's toxic. Now you have to go to the doctor to get antibiotics and all kinds of stuff. But what could you have done in the first place? Prevent that from happening. If you covered the bandage, like on your wound, you cover it with a bandage, you put some Neosporin on it, you clean it out, you try to prevent that from happening. What I did is I tried to prevent Elizabeth from getting an audience by redirecting her. So by being with it, so for example, another term with classroom management that I highly recommend, I can't tell you to be with it, it comes with intuition. Intuition and awareness is withedness. It comes with experience. But remember, experience equals growth. Just because someone is in the position for 5 years does not mean it actually grew. And it means 5-year first-year experiences. So it's like 5 first-year experiences. And you still may not be with it. Not you, but in general you. All right, so withedness. Withedness, I can't tell you what withedness is, but I can definitely explain it where it's a form of awareness. It's how expert educators see things in the classroom. You may take a novice educator, and again, novice doesn't mean new. It could be 5 years, but still be novice. It's all mindset. So as an experienced, reflective, I can take a 2-year, but an experienced educator because they were able to reflect, grow, and got an insight. So withedness is about that. It's, for example, when you walk around a classroom and the educator's only focusing on one student and the whole class is in uproar, that's a lack of withedness. If you walk around and you see 3 students in the back on their cell phones underneath their desk and they're texting because the instructor's on for 5 hours for PowerPoint and they're not aware that all the people are on Facebook, that's a sign of lack of withedness. How do you do with withedness? So for example, withedness would be if I was walking around, because remember classroom management is about you in proximity and where you're at. Remember the front of the classroom is wherever you're standing. So if you're walking around and you're seeing what people are doing, then you can redirect them back towards a task. So withedness also is the way you project that you know what they're doing, and then you project that to students, that they know that you know they're on Facebook. And that's what withedness is about. That comes from experience, so that you can stand near what students are doing. Just because they're adults does not mean that they're not going to act off task. So again, that's what you want to take a look at with pacing. So for example, the 30-20-10 could help out with reducing classroom management issues. So for example, we call the 5P approach to higher ed classroom management. What are the 5 Ps? How an instructor, educator plans for the class. Going from test blueprinting to what you want the class to look like at the end of the day, lesson planning. That also dictates on pacing, hence the 30-20-10 versus 2 hours of PowerPoint. Because remember, people are going to get bored, they're going to go do something else to occupy their time. How many people stand, when they go to the red light, they are now on their cell phones because they're bored waiting for the red light. Your instructor's going on for 2 hours on the same 2 slides. People are checking out. But when they do that, they're going to become off task to occupy their time. So how we pace the course directly relates to how classroom management is or is not going to be implemented. So again, how we pace the course also makes a difference. What do I mean? Being proactive. How do we be proactive? Being invitational is one way. Preventing things from happening. So again, prevents. So again, we want to prevent what? Problems. So again, problems are opportunities, but problems become problems if we don't take care of them first. So you want to prevent a problem from happening in the first place. Also, if you are an educator who actually reads the test back to students verbatim, try not to do that. It's very ineffective. What do I mean? I've seen many times riots break out in classrooms because the students are clamoring for different grades and they want to go over question 1 and question 2, and the book said something different. That's a preventable problem that I see, especially in allied health courses, where the instructor reads the test back to the students. Question 1 is A, question 2 is B, and then the students go, well, I thought B, question 1 is C and not A because it's this. And then the instructor starts going off, and then the other students go, well, I disagree, and it's this. And I've seen riots break out where people are screaming and yelling. That's a preventable problem. How? Giving test feedback as a learning opportunity for students. That's a proactive approach to classroom management in that particular situation. Make it a learning matrix. And if you need extra help, we can help you out. Send me an email, I'll let your TLC know. Because again, you want to prevent. Classroom management is about prevention. And that's hence the management. You want to manage, like if you have an illness, you want to manage the illness, or pain management. You want to manage your class. You don't want it to manage you, you want to manage it. So again, standing by the door is one way. Doing proactive, you're going to do a test review, make it a learning activity out of it. A couple other points. Being with it, can't explain that enough. That's a skill that I can't teach you, you got to figure out on your own because you have to understand it. Private correction. Again, if you have a student who's acting out, don't say out in class, Joe, what's wrong with you? That's not what you want to do. You want to go over to them, redirect the class, go back out in the hallway during break, and say, I appreciate you not doing X, Y, and Z. Thank you. Again, another good line is, how can I help you help yourself? A couple of points, 3 words, classroom management in 3 words, firm, fair, and consistently. So again, firm, thank you, but no. Hey, you know what, Joe, we're going to do that, but no, we're going to do this instead. I appreciate your insights. Fair, if you do something, you have to do it to everybody. So if you give extra credit on a test, you got to give it to everybody. You can't just favor one people, that gets out, your credibility is shot. Third one is consistent. Whatever policies, procedures you want the students to do, you have to do from day 1. It has to be implemented to day 10. You can't change your mind. Flip-flopping is no good for classroom management. Again, credibility shot, nobody's going to pay attention. That relates again to structure. 2 other good points that we've learned about classroom management, about what the instructor can and can't do. 2 things. 1, redirect and be directive. One thing I work with instructors on is how they talk to students. A lot of times they ask, well, why are you late? If you ask questions, you open up other problems because you're going to get a lot of excuses. A good, useful way is catching yourself in how you talk. Direct, Joe, did or did you not actually come in late, yes or no? And it's either yes or no. Either the student's going to lie to you or they're going to say, yeah, I'm late, and what can I do about it? So again, directive is more effective by asking direct type of questions rather than going, why are you late? Or why didn't you turn your homework in? Or why did you go to clinical on time? Those are bad questions. Did or did you not show up to clinicals 20 minutes late? Yes or no? Be concrete and direct. More effective way to get student behavior or human behavior as well. Redirect. Redirect is great. One thing you may learn is that using your syllabus, you may learn in this class and also at the KES, is that the syllabus is a classroom management tool guide. By putting policies and procedures in a syllabi and having a syllabus quiz with that to make the reviewing process active, well, you can pull it up and go, well, did or did you not sign this? If the students didn't turn any homework in, did or did you not sign that question about homework? And you can go, well, how can I help you help yourself? Use an action plan, but you're making it active and checking for understanding. So redirect and direct are highly effective ways that you, as an educator, as a human, can use your own body language and also verbal behavior on, did you not do something? Yes or no? Were you not late? Yes or no? You're not asking for excuses, just yes or no. And the other one is redirect. Highly effective, got a lot of good feedback on that from a lot of folks. Other thing I would recommend to do for classroom management, union response. A union response. What you want to do for a union response is unison response is when you especially go on break. When you break for a break time, ask the students, you have 15 minutes for break. Ask the class, what time? 15 minutes. What time we're going to be back? 4:15, whatever the time is. So again, you want to make sure that everyone understands it before you actually go on break. So if people come back late, you go, were you not aware of the time? Yes? Okay, great. Why are you can say, were you not late? Great. How can we help you pay attention next time? And you give private feedback with the student in a consultation. Checking for understanding, very effective. Just don't give directions, but again, give directions and check for understanding that the directions were understood by having the student repeat it back to you. Joe, what are we doing for homework? Great. What are we doing? Okay, awesome. And then having the students repeat it, so in case somebody doesn't pay attention, you go, hey, Joe, what's the homework assignment? Great, so that they can hear it. So again, it deflects off you, puts the onus back on them. Again, syllabi as a professional development or as a classroom management. And also one thing I want to share with you, we have these, you can get handouts. My colleague Robin has these also, are called Frayer models. Frayer, here's how it works quickly. Frayer is a great way to teach professionalism. Because I know a lot of people have to teach professionalism, but it's one of those words that there's no concrete answer, because it varies from place to place. One way that you can use it as a good classroom management tool is by using an instrument called a Frayer. It has like 4 squares in it, down the line, and you can have the word professionalism in the middle. Getting the students to define what is and is not professional behavior in your particular class or program. Having the students then list it out. And you can write it up on the board as the class, so you get a whole class consensus. What is professional? Coming on time, doing homework, etc. What is not? Having your cell phones out, texting under the desk, whatever. Have them write a small example. Joe's a great student because Joe does X, Y, and Z. Sally's not good because she does this or he does that. And that's a non-example. The key with this is having the students sign their name and put their name at the top. What I would recommend to do is collect them, make a copy, and give a copy back to the student. So if the student is then caught doing something they're not supposed to be doing, like texting on their desk, you can redirect them back to what they already signed. So what this is building a behavioral contract without calling it that. You're teaching professionalism in a concrete manner, and that's a good way to help you with classroom management. So what do you need to know about classroom management? 1, it's proactive. 2, you want to be with it. And 3, you want to be firm, fair, and consistent. And 4, you want to be directive and redirective in your language. And again, classroom management is going to come with experience. So again, we can help you out along the way. So contact your local TLC, program directors, or deans, because classroom management is that it helps the emotional readiness for students to learn. So if I can do a one-word summary of classroom management, is structure. That's what I want to leave you with. So have a good